The offseason continues, and the leadership of the Indianapolis Colts is really, really interesting, and how they go about building a rookie into a functional NFL player. Fascinating. Had a chance to talk to Reggie Wayne today. He started out talking about Josh Downs, and then the conversation took some turns. Nice. Good to talk to Reggie.
That's what the whole process was all about, right? Interviewing him, combine and all that stuff, and Zoom calls and different things. That's what jumped out at you. That he was pretty smart. He's brought up, with football in his life. His dad is a coach. He understands all the ins and outs. So that's what you're looking for. You try to get a guy that can not only play and be successful. You're looking for a guy that can catch on quick and go out there and do it.
What's the thing that a rookie needs to know as you deal with rookies? What's a rookie need to know to live successfully in the NFL?
Need to know?
Yeah.
Don't mess up. They need to know the playbook. They need to know as much as they can possibly can. You know what I mean? Just because you're a rookie, that don't mean you can go out there and every week keep making the same old mistakes over and over and over, right? We expect you to learn from your mistakes, go out there and give maximum effort, So, the rookies we got, we didn't get them to say, hey, we just want you to sit back and watch. We want you to go out there and be productive and grasp the offense as much as you can.
He's mostly a slot guy at North Carolina. Is that kind of how you envision him here, or are you going to try to cross-train him at other positions?
It's really not up to me. I'm just a servant. But I do think, as time goes on and on, I do think you can put him outside at Z, put him in motion, move him around. I think he's that type of player. He's the player that I think we was missing, right? A guy who was agile, who was versatile, guys who can win on option routes, different things of that sort. You know what I mean? So I think he was the right fit for us.
It's kind of like he's a complementary. He can complement Pitt and Pierce.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily going to say, plug and play, but I do think he can complement those guys. I think he has a skill set that we didn't have in the room, So he goes in and he kind of fills that spot, and guys that are behind him, can also do the same things. You know what I mean? So. I think he'll help us win some games. I do think he understands defenses and zones and man coverage and where to be and different outlets and how to get there. So I do think he's special in that way.
Rich, how deep are you into his evaluation before the combine? I guess you looked at all these receivers, but how much did you really know about him before the combine?
Know about him? Probably too much. University of Miami couldn't beat him. So I did see him play before. At the combine, I thought he was the best receiver at the combine.
He just apparently jumped out at you.
Yeah, he did. It was more
receiver at the combine or in his group.
The best receiver in the combine. I just think the way he ran his routes were effortless. You know what I mean? It was smooth. And actually, what I saw at the combine is not what I saw on tape. You know what I mean? On tape, you kind of looked at him a little bit, and things seemed like a little bit more controlled or whatever. But in the combine, you saw his speed. You saw he can run. And I'm not necessarily a little guy receiver. You know what I mean? But obviously, this draft was full of smaller guys, but he stood out. He stood out, and I put an asterisk by his name, and then I came in my office and I really dove in deep and did my evaluations, and I'm like, man, this would be perfect if we had him on our offense.
And you relate that to Chris and everybody.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I do. I all of them. You know what I mean? I go in with a plan A, B, C, D, and however far I got to go down. You know what I mean? If I'm looking at 40-something receivers, then I'm gonna rank them all.
So is he A?
I won't say.
Would you have felt that comfortable last year, being that, I don't know if forceful is the right word?
As far as what?
Being behind a player. I mean, understanding evaluation and.
Oh no, this time last year, man. I had developed an ulcer. You know, everything was head was spinning. You know, even to this point, head was spinning. Yeah, I think I didn't get here until after the combine last year. Then it was like, got here and there was no tutoring session. It was, here you go. You know what I mean? You got to evaluate these dudes. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. You know what I mean? There was no template. There was no, you know, other coaches and things, you know, they was involved in what they had to do. So I had to come in and I had kind of go around and kind of ask questions here and there, you know, and there was no evaluations for dummies for me.
Was it kind of cool that you were able to have this kind of influence on the pick? I'm not sure. I'm sure they loved him too. It wasn't just your recommendation, but
yeah,
you had a big hand in it.
I hope so, you know, but I do understand and do think that they liked him as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I guess when you got me liking them and them liking them, and I guess that's a win-win. You know what I mean? But you know, man, it's basically, you know, it's like I don't know. So it's not a spade hand. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you say, hey, these are my top 5 guys. You know, these are my next 5, you know, my next tier. Then we sit and we talk. We go back and forth. We have some disagreements, but I love a good debate. Everybody that I like, I'm their lawyer. I go into there and I'm their lawyer. I'm fighting for them. I'm telling them the pros, the cons, how I think they can help. They go against the grain. I go back at them. I counter offer. So it's actually fun. To me, it's the funnest part, you know, because I get to play Matlock.
One quick, is there in your experience, what's the hardest part for a rookie quarterback to integrate himself with the veterans? You know, those rookies are here this week. Is Anthony, whether he started, I don't know. But yeah, what's the hardest part about that, just from your experience?
I don't know, man. You know, things are so different now. You know, I just know for me, you know, and coming in, I just didn't want to mess anything up. I just wanted to make sure I was on time to meetings. You know, I was early. I don't know, like I'm gonna stay late just because I feel like I got to. You know what I mean? Like, and then I just remember like when Andrew Luck came in. You know, I saw him. He looking like a deer in headlights. So you just, as a rookie, you just want to be where you're supposed to be, right? Obviously, at quarterback, it's a little bit more probably pressure on you when you're drafted that high. You know, but I had Marvin Harrison there, and you know, I had Jerome Payton, Terrace Wills, you know, E.G. Green. You know, I had guys that was already here that I can kind of bounce stuff off of, but I just was hoping that they were nice guys and didn't make me bring in snacks every week.
Reggie, you like the room? Your room?
I do. I think the room is starting to shape up, just because I feel like we got layers.
Young room.
Yeah, and that's okay. We was younger last year, right? You know, so as long as we hang together, we get older together, right? You know, but no, I do think I think that, you know, another year together, them understanding me understanding them, the ones that are coming back, the new additions that's coming in, you know, they're buying into it. You know, got some quarterbacks. You know, I think it all works together. I think, you know, we just got to keep working. I said the same thing last year this time. So
from last year to this year, what's the biggest jump you've seen from Alec Pierce?
Alec, man, just knowing the system, knowing the offense, knowing where to be, and you know what we demand from him. You know, he kind of came in and, you know, the low haircut and looked like a Marine. Coming in now, he kind of lets it grow out a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's where you understand guys are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. You know, it's less questions. You know, I think year 2 is going to be that where you start to see the tide turn a little bit. Hopefully, he's not like me where it took 3 years to really get it. You know what I mean? But I do think I see a guy that's more relaxed and more fit.
That's Reggie Wayne. Interesting, last year there was no template. They asked Reggie to come in, started doing evaluations, and really didn't know what he was doing. It's surprising that nobody took the time to kind of put their arm around Reggie and say, hey, here's how we do things here. I found that to be kind of revealing. I got to tell you the truth. I thought it was interesting hearing him talk about Alec Pierce, because Alec Pierce is going to be asked to carry a bit of a heavier load this year, as with Pittman, as with rookie Josh Downs. Interesting room, and I'm glad that Reggie likes it.